You meet a couple of people that will change your life forever. They will change you, it will change what you do. You'll walk away from radio. You will take on a whole new career in Act Two of your life, and that is John Lennon and Yoko Ono. I could sit here and try to come up with a clever way of guiding you into this, but that would be disrespectful to not only you, but John and Yoko, so I'm just going to say, Elliot, John and Yoko, take it away.
They did. They did. They took it away, they took me away. I've told the John and Yoko story. Elliot meeting John and Yoko, what John and Yoko represented in my life, my years with them. To this day, as we record this, on the full moon in the summer of 2009, Yoko remains my best friend. I've represented the John Lennon estate since 1980. He was a dear pal of mine. I met him in the early 70s and was with him until time ran out in 1980. My meeting John and Yoko would change my life forever. And by the way, for many of the people who are watching or listening to us tonight, they may have not met them in person, but the presence of John and Yoko and the John and Yoko experience changed their lives forever. So, so I got to shake their hands. You got to hear the same music I got to hear, right? Very briefly, I did an interview with Yoko on KLOS. I did an interview with John on KLOS, over the radio, over the telephone. Over the telephone. They both called me after the interview. We engaged in an ongoing telephone relationship for months. We just called each other every day and every night. Never met them, just spoke to them. And one day they showed up in California. I met them. We became friends. John gave me a record album, an acetate disc. And he said, look, this is called Sometime in New York City. It's our new creation. And we're giving this to you as a present because we really like you. And you can go back to KLOS radio and you can play it. Well, this is far better than the Bermuda Triangle, you know. And I took the acetate and I ran right back to KLOS and I told the engineer, hold those commercials. Whatever's on this, because it was an acetate, I couldn't hear it in my car. So I heard it for the first time through the earphones at KLOS as I was playing it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it was a different time. And there were some songs on that particular disc that management had a problem with. When you got into the Angela Davis song and Attica State, and finally one particular song that mentioned an unmentionable word on the radio, resulted in a little meeting with me and management the next day where there was a man in a suit behind a desk who was very kind and soft-spoken and who talked about kind of a new direction that the station was moving in, and some changes that they might want to make in terms of their lineup of the person. And I just said, I got it. And I remember calling John and Yoko, who were staying at a little house in Ojai, California, a little place right 100 miles from where we're sitting right now. And I said, I got good news and I got bad news to John. And he said, what is it? I said, here's the good news. I played the entire album last night on the radio without commercials. And he was so excited, and I heard him say to Yoko, mother, he played the whole thing, because they couldn't find the station, they couldn't get it in Ojai, and he just was thrilled that I broke the record. And I said, and here's the bad news. I was fired. And that's exactly what he did.
He laughed.
He cracked up. He thought that was the funny, and he said to Yoko, and they fired him. And I heard Yoko giggling too. I didn't think it was particularly funny at the time. So after the humor stopped, he said, so what are you going to do now? I said, I don't know. Look for another job, I guess. And he said, look, we're going to go up to San Francisco in a day or two. Why don't you just come with us and hang with us? It was the best offer I ever received in my life. And somewhere around 1972 or 73, I joined the mini magical mystery tour with John and Yoko, headed up north, and we were inseparable after that, you know. I never looked back. It was the end of the broadcasting era. It was the end of radio and TV. It was a new shuffle of the deck. I knew I would never go back to a radio station. I think I was tired of being fired. And I had said everything I wanted to say on the radio anyway. And I knew that something better awaited me.